tial le bodo susray bodul maraklay marubukul belaw. Bilong maybe reklay marmasil belaw. Madirigal presenter Senator Cons Paulus, marugul senators, Speaker Anastasio, marugul delegates, Chief Justice Niraigalaw, marugul justices, governors, speakers, lators, marbek kalather belaw, ngara blura, ngayang al moro charigi, mangaray kila blur belar al sils. Mo subese ngaga maldi mga dadu, ngara state visit, holding like al baby rablo mo, mlamodi al sekal mga dadu lam larmit tiale, voice rak, baka timok mo sese may ngawalal mo sa chief of staff, ngora mo update rigidra igel lurereth. Di suadro ay srose el alsilse el altutaw ikadul morsel second economic consultation tianga leurtuiri ser kampaktara 2010 em legiradan baruni rabe karagan ding ulablol model di mal mereka suler assistant secretary kantor mati mering artiang el morsel second consultation aktitribel mutul mora PPR kadang arsel review ay kayidel economic report tride mesaro se kadang al budulir and how do we partner together mulisi rablur belaw adiri kal diso kal al moduli ase kadang proud ran algef digam le return al mara fespak matrigal digam le return ngara micro games ngari last delegation or arrival al sales kada prouder till mal mlorekrel belaw otiak li belar gid otia will sportsmanship and oti ser rengal wase ta samaria ladar belaw oli ser belaw mora blulat mang kadamral they congratulate tir and welcome them home dol mol el magakti dirigal de wais wase mloriate ledel el mora blura saibal this past weekend ومثلا هذا سايبال يدري خم لي متر تجلا هذا PCA التيرا ديك بدوت مامور سلوك مقدرورا بايرتير كده مدي هذا مرا سوليرا هذا والبيرا خلولون نسير باسس الباجت المهم البرتيل لم قدر سل البايرتير يدري خم موبيل سل بس كانسلت اوفيسر كده سايبال ديري خل الشغل اللي هو عايش راسي كمان مرا سوليرا هذا البير سل Elios ang albe pasari kadi uli itrose ngare kelangan sela Ministry of Health and Human Services kadulong itang eswertir mulbol se adel el mesas el ministry edo sa igel mal los pe edo to do gut mokla lastly kidam denga se a vice president adi bosele al sit mlo de al selo mangedelen o mangela ruba karin ngara a blura a Taiwan. Dear Minister, sa mga al sil sa nga Minister Jenkins, Minister Victor, Minister Obiang, of course, Chief of Staff Makmo, o ideal lalon mo rin mong kora, mo facilitated their press conference al sil se, finish na press conference rin lang. Kuman masula. Maluwil to time is raklay. Medyo energy.
Mata maluwil to time, moral sulang yung president ra ilal update Mongolia voice box ra kaw hindi na kami sa state visit rin na kapsingin our ministers sa also ilal book maski da may update madilungil po sulang sa bedalong ra minister Obiang bukpol maski da update ra ministry rin basel book le umbrella mura sa ibal le mitra adra PCA.
Tayo president ako mga minister sa mga chief of staff nito tayo lay ako mga kamera media di mutan maluwil tutaw mara Mr. Yamadama Mr. Tatina maray mo siyugang president tigil dokyo sera school ako na di maral mo si Siwak Lim Dalil ang kalim. Ako na pang kaging classmate. Hindi akalaluira, yung mo lalawaran mo si Siwa, orang mo klaulaan. Kasi malamat termi, ramulo lang ni Mr. Tapingan. Siya ako talingar babal. Sabi ito mo clean. Ilalak lang araw belang. Kita di suadal mutal do ela yella dilu president ra PC kita no ablura saibale elem no sabela president del mitra tirigel el members sa PCA saibala makuama tomkodo gal other tilom club tirong association el Palau Community Association material ko ngara saibala nos bela president del mitra tir loban tirigel Kuk miladoro del board del tara ambasador Rabea director talortir el lolong seora PCA kirela no secure utum mang mosubedan makadarus el bay malubeng center el presidenta director silvedi del wasen mo house ra sel consulate officer giderse madirigal mo subira other belau ngara saibal lo spelling lo meeting masawda teletele la ayel mayel issues ertir magnongi la rendir tamanongi rendir presidenta silvetir waseng ogiwa mal klol ines ma klaniseu ra olbir halulaw emno sebelte al dar telel bukto den mo eliaurior yang mo eliaurior segide egida amlam saus pela gel silkuk pail ngara kwam ra hospital other bela or ngima arbebira tirgel other micronesia tira mo tuir tire emat mokla al sendiram kada mringel wase se diakal lengia orokiolel mal ube mukut makligal lain morsel dong dasuringi endi amle mal positive message sa nartira kasi ma sabel lomo la auror mga tamal dimleng asule la president tamal leadership na oike mga other members egida bay uswerte te alle ele dire el merenga asulira adra olbil arsel tian nombre el macet el dire el signer no se el musel ludo del mora mot mokor sel ludo project raminato basi sel ula kuranta siaval dilul basengire del mosutrir tirgel tenants se tirgel adlulu siobar al sel building el ngamo affected tertial logod rula dit el tomodoringil waseng wal wara resettlement process san mortir gida amno tuir appraisal official appraisal tutto dice gida lor hindi naka langamal ubang director malaire ati nodong okle muselo ulmulo liarababira appraisal ari relim seguida tingilul mo presente ngiro ige ma presidente pero mereng asulit no superior el kongering it ano meregal at supplemental budget na auror el ang do mesring mo o kiwas el schedule tira no superior el good makli kita presidenta dirigam la mention lua sen mo o relocation malubang mo besal site tama besal hospital na dirigalo wiser other belau luas dirigalo expert ra climate change dirigam na surdi luas tel pamkadara el aldangaringi adi few feet above the sea level el boria cloud dolang typhoon ng rangi mate gida rogul madingelwas la moerong del time el de evacuator other tiang regel makloliol tal nervelo mang stats one the other thing asing mo na ngalakra luir rakar kiltia mang dire ko expert tam na sugdi de sa tol mol mel suise ngi en dire ko man mo bring la ara rabay do omdasuma atas forsa na lugot piga presidenta marulia a final reporter ngi da sering morgi mel ang di presidenta malmon lo was gire del moitirar expert may mat advisory git em skida recommendation radi atil gire la site mo ko ruti al hospital masel mo teletele la aurora al sela que to spe advisor firma ay ge aurora marade la di aurora project traga e minister Jenkins senti kita tire del madingel was sa president tamna informer git resemo besen school mora babaldao el time ka daw la bangkela state rin SR madeligate tir aspigir Anastasio long dasul wase mos el modar sa utom el mera national government mga mobilizing that school el K to 12 mga kindergarten no to tira 12 grade mos el accommodate ang algara papatao matiregal mo accommodate tal pornia aklol kuk mo ngalsang sila ay dal high school dal maral sila abaluro ese mo di mo kringa el housing adul sauda a president el mortigel agal me sensei aklol si el mo solver sel kuk isura ang leged the recruiter til me sensei was in dia ka telgiban mering la rolia dalang okla selami en ya president om na so sa dagat mokla housing say yang mo so irtigal yung aleged mo be tertira mail ng already ngaring ya aplirir e mestria transition muntelara algo mo kadora ay gel maral mo aplirir el bo civil cook sera la dalang aplirir arbotol volunteer sa dollar kilmer belau jay kama apepira organization dire mo so el help al houses tirgay dia bodo ngoy tamal mo kloludo lo araw aplirir alo ko to siga dalo aplirir presidenta dire kam na subdit awan stop shop pa ang Amerika really la kaluwi a presidenta ra Taiwan presidenta oy alboring ate ellel me visiter gida malo ben arbabal adara Taiwan yang sa dalamay entara macro project dire kan sa double weakness ra accomplishment nira kada merenga sulira adara Taiwan el kirela funding say di oro kiole la aurora adome serni en diol gedam aye ide bai Lumele presidente Octobora Victor Ngagidel was second nama para betul time.
Madam Malungil tuta president ma dengan adra medial no sabil may ma bekladal mo sabil mo rang sa malwat wa mesel press conference di ko lingit ra talagi bel time edu ku ay sa bebir program sa nga ministry gitra agriculture fisheries and environment ni olong sa adra sers mar adra aquaculture mo July 1st sel livestock incentive fund se suporta togora livestock aquaculture same luktub logi wa igel mga udodra 1% ra igel udodra tax ra tabagom alcohol mo creator sige del program na America regulation July 1st kita mo implement ra program focus ra sell incentive fund awalo lisi atokora livestock matkora aquaculture kanam sada igel kora mora commercial scale trigel adal moktegar tira umgrola babi mal lugato umgrola ngigel magim el moltraw Maria ardori nan el livestock farmers el name register marso mangaria livestock farmers el dirgal register en arsegi del urior dolgi tertim el borsel office rigidra Bureau of Agriculture en argesar but register and board of eligible and more say either yes so that time when we say arala alela arm so el al time en kluga aral imolbek e gila sabi edel mo subsidize ringin mo $16 imolbek indiregal trigel la adal slaughter more than 5 el babi sabi rin wanges mo no sir same mo ri arala slaughter indiregal sumo mo sa babi doltrar neken $65 imol ngalgala babi yang ariya adal doltra almel babi piglet usually doltra ngara dartal kluk seguida sabi mo to be sel $35 mo malamed mo seguida aral ngel babi ngel adal mo ariya dia ka kulong itra $100 di mo harara $65 position program el mora tora aquaculture mosera tora el materials el mamru lasers ara la kalela ngigel dire kan ara la kalela subsidize ara la gel seedlings ma fingerlings dire kan lolong itra ada lo sel sum dire kan register lo tangan mo register sel bureau obviously gidra bureau of fisheries ngara amalan bolsubdan mamdel wasi mal telal ada abodol mo sertir mo el determin raklungen la subsidy mora alela ar ngigna yel ko mora materials dire legal la masasel facility gidra amala sel Palau National Aquaculture Center open ra SLOBIS dire nani gel expansion ratang again expansion ratang mainly ng mga kamadate ra mo production ra milk fish ngayon wasya el alta mga dire importa ngalgen la all ra Taiwan sera bolstoba skogira Taiwan and maybe because of gloria covid mo dagas el importa ngalgen la all sel ngardog corporation awablo nakal sa peril import sel showartira awablon matro mo giwa ngesora government sera 2021 naglam stat lo ngela adu corporation el rehabilitate ay pandartir elam na mo so edel mo so tri ma ngela ara Taiwan mi digid o mesara long term growth ra aquaculture emanel wasya milk fish adi imol badanga langi ngela mo so edel commercially farmer ngira blur belaw Mlamo necessary ko sengire del produce rangal gel rabro belo. Modulungi tertrigel sa leader Taiwan Technical Mission. Wasa kami po to mesra el rangal all ra ablo belo mo na expand na gel el tang ngariya ngaro ko yim fruits takara all ngara sila tang. It take time and mo acclimate mo ra gel tang mo sa ilong el. Anticipate lo aseng DSL el rak most of edel produce ngara 300,000 ngalgala aon 300,000 ngalgala aon at enough sidra imol regal pandra ngado corporation siya capacity ra regal facility gidra ngamlan makada litra ablo Taiwan wase kada kay ngasel lo mesra clol facility kada dire lo mesra clol facility mo por sa edel modarur ra pang left me dal mora igal fishing igal aquaculture pan madadim liya sa bedra mo tumira pan de amporo madam lo focus ra all kada dasol wasi ngari yakal del lulus pelel sa el mawal ra omgedra long line sa el mogal dire ka sa el export ngalgel mora ablo riping letira dire ka los pe ngalgel aon mo sel dosem business model ra aquaculture ala sa pedro asing mo financially viable kada grora capacity gid o mesa bebir ra batangel la species sa pedro mo commercially grow and farm madili kay gida dis agriculture mal betom man mo da temela Mr. Chenkil sa ko musese sula
Presidente Mayor Buligitel if I think Ruway Lelang Artel Wadier Lay my secretary Ngaringi al-adal domokadawang ilo sa omong association in omong tial lo mga abu. Itirang malyunik property represent lang taadara sales, mar adara bung, mar adara talong. They're all about malalamang mil bung ang talong purify at yakadil lidir malubing ang ikal blara abuay mo. Kadamari nga sulil tamnay ang lakrosel kuktiyo mesa talang kaklir makakaduli ang rupartir luwasang mga rang kuklaw ng seura akabalmentang gidar ada Palau hindi ka purify gal facilities kita mo. Elang time it mga mokrosel sign ng airport selulubong ang sign ng artiyan ng taylang sal selubong isel kasi may ko sa walo lubong lo mas ela blur Palau mga sulira turist na maraming meeting dito di kulite kuiwa clear ang ngaringi Julie Giro Frida Shea Ailes Subra Benedicta Alfonso Rebecca Sanuma Edna Raymond, Sayuri Sal, Ayosko Atalik, Gaya Hotel nga sige Artiro Uy, Lorraine Amul, Pamela Palau, Kimberly Gangel, Delegate President Rablo Nusar, Mina Ari, Deborah Pedro, Momoyo Adachi, Clara Joseph, Helena Pulibert, Mary Basio, Romana Basilius, Maelin Kumay. Tigayibya ang mga mokorse ko naman mga sulir, ramalawilo relir, maomlet ilgirela ako ka purification na water of Lurvela. Sulang.
Man sulang minister naman mga sulir masulir layang area koradol besel lo ay siri kita marsel opening artial economic consultation where say angel ambassador assistant secretary kantor ang inatul chegal walbel dilivel merablur belao first 6 million el girela infrastructure maintenance sesel 2 million for 2022 23 ma 24 Ige mamatmokla igal repair arael maigal al repair hospital tol igal agros al activities they were scheduled the rule net chegal the other chegal 1,098,000 chegal girela yes al larovita mora Ministry of Finance and mga sir gidra data collection statistics sama household income survey kita mengasing sumusod ang megawang decision we should have good data mga mengasing labro ng regal belum kita technical assistance collect the data mga mengasing kita telang marakurat trendra belum belo di kutel telebek lastly Ministry of Finance ada kalau begitu dengan RC partial economic consultation di ko wise rasa of course under tial alblad pasarira sanira chuntent ani ke tol subsidies el gira del morto el al time Ministry of Finance ma Ministry ahel da mat mo kortir ma kom dirang sa announcement te di mo wise rasa mo ora te tele la million sula
Sulang yung presidente utop sa tele la Minister Education mukukbol bas kita update rin.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. President. I have so much good news to report, I'm going to have to cut it back because this time of the year, it's always the time when school ends and school begins. But I would like to just touch briefly on what has been going on in the schools this past year. The past year was identified as investing in our children, and sometimes those turn to be just words. but this was not. This was reality. It was an investing in both in money, but even more importantly in human resources to help our children achieve the best education possible. So I can just touch on a few of those results, because parents have been asking me, okay, we took all of these changes, we made all these changes, what do we get out of it? Well, here's what you get. This is just the beginning. First of all, the graduation and promotions were, I think, wonderful. The high school graduation, I think, was particularly impressive when you see our children in the way they handle themselves in times of tragedy. Also, it was also the first graduation program I'm aware of that we've ever had, which was broadcast live virtually, because some of our students are also, they're student athletes. And so they were actually competing in the micro games. And so thanks to PNCC, they were able to watch the proceedings. And our valedictorian was also at those games, and he was able to give his speech at the commencement address. So that's an area of what we're just starting to just scratch the surface of the potential of what we're going to be able to be handling in the near future. But I wanted to point out a few things. One thing is that there's a very important item that's come about as a result of the COFA, and I've talked about it in some ways, but I want to make sure everybody on island knows about this because it's a very important matter. Any Palauan student attending universities in the United States, regardless of which state they attend, is going to only be able to be charged the resident tuition. They will no longer be charged at a non-resident or an international tuition. So this becomes effective July 1st. So any student who's currently enrolled in a college in the U.S. And they want to get this reduction, it's very simple. I received a letter from the Secretary of Education outlining the legal ramifications of this and how it works, and have addressed a letter to all of our high school principals now for them to distribute to any student attending school, so they will qualify for that amount of money. It's a huge reduction. It will change everything in how students look for colleges, and also, importantly, also in how the National Scholarship Board can assist those students, because we will no longer be looking at tuition charges of $30,000 or $40,000 a year, but more like $8,000 to $10,000 a year, which is a huge issue for us. And that is effective, as I said. Now, so if you're a student, you're currently enrolled in a college in the U.S., please come in and see your principal and get a hold of this letter and address it to your financial aid officer, and to reduce the tuition burden that you are bearing. Next would be we've done a lot of changes, and some of them have been, wonder why we're doing it. We have a new calendar. We started a new grade, the kindergarten grade. We've also instituted new programs in terms of curriculum, in terms of reading, and some computer-assisted instruction in all of our academic core subject. I'd like to just touch on our kindergarten grade. I've just received the Iowa test scores. The Iowa test scores are what we use to measure student achievement and school performance. And the kindergarten results, the first year we've had kindergartners who are now in the first grade, and their results have surprised me. We are now, our first grade students who attended kindergarten are now performing at above the average of the U.S. So, in fact, in some schools they're performing as high as the 89th percentile as their average. That's really testament to, number one, the quality of the children we have and the quality of the teaching staff we have. There's been a lot of criticism, but I think our teachers and our principals really deserve some compliments in terms of how they've adjusted themselves to these changes, and how they've seen how those changes are coming up positively for our kids. And that's the main thing we're trying to accomplish. So the kindergarten and the rest of the schools, grade levels and content areas. I'll be getting that out. We're still doing some analysis of it. But generally, it looks like we're improving, I would say approximately a 5 percentile increase across the board. So now we have, in some grades, we're now in that 45th percentile, which is what they call average, and that's our average score. That's not our goal. Our goal is, of course, be higher, and we're going to continue doing so. And so in doing that, we have the year-round calendar, which has every quarter, every 9 weeks, the students have a break in which they're not required to attend classes for a period of 3 weeks. What this allows us to do is to offer them all-day programs or specific programs that we can't offer within our curriculum, within our daily day. So, for example, this past year, we had over 50 students, high school students, all enroll in scuba diving lessons and all receive their open water scuba certificates. Some of them, I think 8, have then progressed on to the next level, the advanced level. The reason we have this is because this is a part of our hospitality and curriculum, the pathway, but it's never been able to be utilized because we can't take them on 1 day of school. Now we can have, they take a full week, every day, full day of diving instruction and come out with their certifications. This will then qualify them for employment. And even in the summertime, we hope for summertime employment. And we found out there are over 300 non-Palauans working in the tourism industry in terms of diving instructors, boat operators, and guides. Things which our kids are going to be able to do immediately out of graduation from high school. That's our goal. And even before that, during their intersession breaks, be able maybe to get some extra help. We're also working with the Ministry of Finance to bolster our business administration program into having much more emphasis on financial literacy. And along with that, of course, with our agriculture track, we'll be working with the Minister Vincent to give our students more real live farming tips. We have miniature farms on the school, but we want them to get out and learn how to drive tractors and things like that. But this has all come about as our options are, we can't do everything in the classroom. We don't have the expertise. We can't teach kids diving in a classroom. And so we are surrounded by people with tremendous amounts of expertise. And we're hoping to touch more of that as our kids go through to provide them with more pathways to success. And I think we've got a great start. I really want to thank the high school faculty for the way they have enthusiastically worked on this. They're operating right now on developing a new course, which is going to be an archaeology course, which is going to be co-taught by a professor of archaeology who will be coming out here. We're also beginning negotiations with a professor from Germany who is also an archaeologist and has offered to come out and to teach a semester course for us. So we've got a very nice blend of bringing in experts for our kids. And our kids are going to have responded really well to these projects. On a more mundane level, I also want to thank our cooks. People don't realize that our cooks had their workload doubled as a result of the institution of the breakfast program, which has been a wonderful addition for the school. We found that because of the breakfast program, the kids come to school earlier, they have a little social time with their friends, and they're not relying on an after a morning snack, which almost all the time would be like a soft drink and chips. So they're getting a healthy, nutritious breakfast as well as a healthy, nutritious lunch. And so I want the cooks to realize they are appreciated for that. Next would be all of our schools, as you are all well aware, are not pretty, and they're not up to snuff in terms of ability for being a comfortable learning environment. And so we've addressed this in, I think, a very aggressive way this past year in terms of investing in making mechanical different changes in our schools in terms of the high school and the Truro Elementary School, adding solar power and also adding the addition of air conditioning to some of the classrooms. Following that, we looked to our partners, particularly Japan, and they have been generously helping us in terms of a work project which we identified for the elementary school in Palau, which was in terrible shape if anybody's ever been there. It was a basic, a new body shape. Everything's been changed. Roofs, walls, everything's been changed in the school. It's fully air conditioned. All of the classrooms, cafeteria, all of those now are air conditioned. And it's not air conditioned just for the sake of air conditioning. It's air conditioning for the sake of providing a comfortable environment for students to learn. It's hard to learn when it's 88 degrees and humidity is 150%. Also, as a result of that, we've also moved on and completed the air conditioning project in Palau, which is now done. And they have air conditioning in all their classrooms and also their cafeteria. This week, we hope to begin our work with the Koa Moana group, who are going to be helping provide us with labor to install the air conditioning in Ngaran, which will be done hopefully before the beginning of the school year. Following that, thanks to the OEK providing the supplemental budget, we are now able to offer the air conditioning projects for the other schools, IMA League, and also, we hope, Ngarnamnagui. But Ngarnamnagui has a little bit extra work to do because of some roof issues. So that should be done, as well as IMA League, before the end of the first quarter. That's our goal. So there's been a lot going on. I think the students have profited immensely and they're very complimentary about the air conditioning, of course. It's kind of funny to see them wrapping up in blankets going into their classrooms. The thermostats need a little work, but I think it's been a very good year for our kids, and I want to make sure that we all, if you see a teacher, they really deserve your thanks, and we're working on a professional development plan for them, which will enable them to increase their professional expertise, as well as we hope their financial compensation. Thank you.
Sulla ministere atir kangan ngawan nila stel update tra president wala do boratan chupi.
Sula Chief Maricel mle Palau International Baseball Classic. Malsukan mereka sula la of course Palau Major League. Tigil sa litra Taiwan Brazil. And organizer tial first international baseball tournament tra Blue Belau. Mereka sula sel team review sa all-star team team ra PHS na participate ramang gila blura Siaban South Korea Guam Taiwan. I think it was a great tournament and we hope to see more. Marami mga sular coaches, parents, families pero oyanda nosil join and support the program. Direk di ko wise rosea arang lihat ng Arab Blura Marshall Islands sa last flight. Lord takarang lihat ng Maya Maryland Sil sera 5:30. La Blagirel 6:50. Di la advance schedule mo 5:30. Ma trial guys. Pero not give till merme. Let's welcome them home. Sula. Questions? Yes.
Can you start first follow up on the president's statement?
Ungil Tutao, President, and is this on? Yes, okay. Ungil Tutao. I'm Marissa Delmang Spires, intern for Island Times with Leilani. I have a few questions for you, President. First question is about the micro games with the conclusion of it and Palau ranking as the 4th overall and Palau hosting Pacific mini games next year. What is the government doing to prepare for Palauan athletes to meet the next year's games, and will Palau be ready in terms of facilities to host the games?
Minister Obia, come for update.
Sulara question serak athlete din naka-record kama sangat tirigel ngaringi lang. Auror igal facilities mo cater malog mo accommodate athletes tira merbela ora next year Pacific mini games sa aulamo ora alas tira malamol man maral merela. Das when our other PNOC tirigelo ngara athletes rigit ngaringi abato legal lesson learner tial ko ne micro game mara martial tirigegi dia ko ngara training mara ada de prepare ligirela a participation gidara a game gida mo host magadamring sulir our ranking ma medal selingera martial and the sell the host adablo lom das lo say we have the home court advantage sila nga rin competition magardi man mo blakarngud elo do lobanterir regular training ma practice sila nga rin and as far as facilities sel bolospe a president amateur al director git mauro regular good facilities adong at mokl mo me ersekidal competition ra next year.
Sulang. And next question, directed for President. With many young Palauans leaving Palau, is there a strategy in place to attract Palau's youth back home, and are there incentives for young people to return?
Come on, question, answer. So, first of all, thank you for the great question. And I think one of the biggest challenges that we've seen, and Marissa, one of the things that I've done since I was first got into public offices, I go around Palau visiting every home. One reason that we do that is to understand the needs of the people and try to solve problems. And I started doing that with my father back in 2000. And we'd go to villages, Madorm or Yiwal, and they say these people left, they went to Iowa. That family left, they went to Michigan. So this trend of Palauans leaving Palau has gone on since we got the compact and before. But since the compact, more than half of our population has left Palau. So when we ran for office, one of the biggest challenges we knew we faced is how do we stop the out-migration of Palauans? Then what happens? COVID hits. So even less opportunities. But what also happened in the U.S. is wages went up and unemployment went down. So if you get off the plane in the U.S., you can find a job easily, right? So it made it even harder to keep Palauans in Palau. But from the beginning, we always believe that our goal should be providing the Palauan dream for Palauans. and that begins with providing opportunities. So that's why we restructured the Ministry of Human Resources to focus on getting Palauans employed. But it's more than just getting Palauans employed. We also need to be able to train them, to equip them so that they can get the good jobs. And they need to have jobs that they earn enough to take care of their families. So in 1997, we passed the first minimum wage, law to get it to $2.50. In 2013, the second one. Finally, this year, the OEK has passed the minimum wage to increase it to $4.25 in October and $5 next October. That's in October of 2025, which brings it up to be in line with the government wages that were increased earlier. We believe that one of the important things that we need to do is make sure that our children, our citizens, can earn a decent living. But it doesn't stop there. We also need to provide them a decent housing. We've worked hard to find more funding. One of the efforts has been to get the Saudi loan that you've maybe heard about, the $15 million loan at a 2.5% interest rate to help the development bank to issue more housing loans. The other thing that we're working with is the USDA, working with Palau Housing to increase their programs. They're going to be able to hire a director that will be in country to be able to approve loans and grants. There should be an announcement coming out soon, and they will be hiring somebody to do that. Working with Palau Housing to increase the opportunities for loans up to 140,000 at an interest rate between 1% and 3%. So we're excited about the program, and we look forward to that. You know, some of the other things that we're, of course, working on to help our young people stay in Palau is you have to develop a robust and resilient economy. And part of that is diversifying the economy, finding new opportunities, whether it's in the financial sector, which we've begun with the digital residency program and trying to expand that. Diversifying the tourism sector, bringing in new markets. Also, I think the military provides other opportunities, whether it's veterans returning home, because now we have veterans programs in Palau, opening up the reserve program in Palau, and just, of course, the development of the radar sites, airport, port, these all provide more jobs. If anything, I would like to encourage our young people. Palau needs you. We need you to build our nation. There's opportunities. There is so much that's going to happen within the next 5 to 6 years. Between now and 2030, there's a lot of development coming. We need you to come back and help nation build. We're working with our friends from Japan, from the US, from Taiwan, and of course, the implementation of the compact to all provide those opportunities for our people. But the biggest fear we have is those opportunities are going to foreigners. And I'll just give you an example. Right now, there's over 6,000 foreigners that work in Palau and growing much faster than Palauans. Palauans working in Palau, 5,000 and shrinking. In fact, we cannot hire enough teachers, we cannot hire enough nurses. There's nobody applying. If you go in the private sector, there's not enough people. Well, I think partly that has to do with wages, so that's why we're working on getting wages up. So thank you for the good question. Wilger.
Yes, Sulang. I have one more question, if that's okay.
So we're hoping that you come home soon.
Oh,
Island
yes.
Times, succession plan.
Hopefully, in the future. My last question relates to the veterans. You were saying there's programs in place. I guess my question is, for the veterans returning from their duties and planning to reside in Palau, what resources do they have through those programs? And would that include exemption or reduced taxing?
Okay, so the veterans, when we talk about benefits, before they were not receiving their medical benefits while they were in Palau. If they got sick, they had to pay for their way to go to Guam or Hawaii for treatment. So the veteran benefits that we're talking about is something that we've been fighting for a long time. And now, if you're in Palau, you're going to be able to get medical care, but also be sent off island if you need medical care. So this is a huge benefit to hopefully bring veterans back. As far as taxes, well, they don't receive any income in Palau, so they don't pay income taxes. I think you're asking if they return home, are they going to pay taxes on their household goods coming from the United States to Palau? So in this past supplemental budget that was passed, there was an amendment done to the PGST, which now exempts the return of household goods from being taxed. They still get taxed for cars, but household items like pots, pans, furniture, whatever, the clothes they're bringing back, they will not be taxed. Those household personal effects. So hopefully that is another incentive for them to come back. The other thing that was also part of that exemption was if you do send things from the outside to Palau, to individuals, they're exempt up to $1,000 and a total of $5,000 per year. So
Maraming sulang, President.
Thank you for the questions.
And I have a couple of questions as well. Ate ulo kaming Minister Obiang, na-mention ay gal bebira infrastructure last National Environmental Symposium planning last week, I think. It's last week. Tamsa that telpli lakomi. Lakalwid it's one last 25 years. Was spring 25 years. Yato Mr. Ngid lang in team the first 3 years kadam la reach 7% capacity. Ma question lang si ngaral luro ramra el help para make sure it tell Black Omes at spring 25 years and dakatil 10 years 15 years maximum.
Diam sulang elera agrima atara amlo in place el mal important tel es el landfill tel bla komi a collecta data every day ayel komi el método el metmo mayel lo hacen se ve del recycle el komi mayel ko takal se ve el recycle mangira del mo tel landfill ayge ulang important ne base ra survey ra lulong seori gida ar adara siapal mga mokle kadam lo sepedel kor to diesel wayal kora estimation ra capacity ra lila ko mirigida ra sila 25 years eseya kaya mokla klungel ma design ringi was kaya gida moswel hindi gida rogul matengel was things get changed along the way. Mire Elia, the project ringil 25 years and more slightly different in terms of value ringil. Higidal data el alta collecta katasyen mora other siapalo ng seorigit gaya bodo spell was at sukum maral actions about the take el sebedel maral kalimo moral wala bodo giungi most of the motive diesel was at least 25 years and those pairs tell it tell basically mira where potom das will be under 25 years say the data collection say those pairs
ngari tingela Minister Victor wase kaleda ngaralet ko digo dokere Minister Obiang wase agomi angaralet ngaralet el segregate tara clol problem ra komiste bargid kidel badar belaw adagdal lisel ngaralet wase haulangan la morsei a plastica morsei dega da segregate ta komirid al chum chodale extend la life ra bla komirid close to tell the segregate and recycle like always street so ngora di reminder ulaktat kal morgid ra ulo ase agomi ngaralet dega dil galer
Sulang di follow-up persel dire que el statement del presidente minister ngari que luriol marar el time los anges ora karos el NGO ma siya pala chayka especially da toera segregation mangaringi reol marar sila especially ay kalbalura kayuk segregate ta committee Hindi kadamlo matiga ringi sel conference wase ay ka ta segregate tara way maliga esela malakomi tamalo taktaro kol malotura ne blakomi malmable lakomi so ngara sab el makatmok rulise mang morning mo reduce ay gege del baby ra akomi e dire kal follow up persel dire ke minister amlani aldadura aw alel alborngi silbi la komil base ay kel ngaringil bli la komil apa benda apol rehabilitate di to date teng kora dir ka kauriol girele wal kora amla startup pollution el moto dan morata de to kora kel la komi angara coastline mang kam kora di waisu sika to girel gera seluriol
me cancer is el last part again close out regel الموت بلا ميرا بك الستيت maral ne planner kita malmol malo overall girel kita maikal state government kerdiral madengel was betora ay gelbli la komi am lo dars el clock clear mang kaduro lo mantri land owner sa state government was rehabilitation al boda tegri makaranya da sabed el gut muklia a clock clear el moringa usber tir sela future and dice tira apol roid el kerdir ko malmal lo mantri state government ra close out el muta bila komirtir mara malmol magdore اللي الى لقي ده كلوز اوت قبل قومي me guli tara Victoria Maria a program el gire el tei del South Assembly con el first
So sulla minister Mr. Troncel Noringil meeting ra arthera del landfill ra liga وهذول كل توك القسيس كذا مرال سل رجيت على سل أوفيس عندي سل الطوبدرا أوفيس المرال بذولا لنفيل عندي مر إيمول الطرق والبرام لنقل سنسل ملاي أقول مسيء ملاه بين المايسي so غني أقرا فورترا ما في ما MHRC-TV ما PVA ما Palau Plates ya or state ta umbral wasing gilngel wasing tira some of the provider amlay etamo panwaq ta gigid الغميل mora la film se agora abrió el gegrey digo mo lo el arse lo abrió el qasit kada magra adres el gegrey el programa no el government el oral muklum magra tetel so seguide agora se me lo ngel el seguide
كوت على غادي بلغة تغرم رجال مرة مرسلة بلغة تغرم رجال بيم ديك سودا يقل تغرب بلاو هاليلويا Marissa, it was a good question, but I think I should explain in Palau what you asked me, so I think it was an important question. Ako tululang ulgal wase tialo maral mora clara blur belaw. Ako lo aiso wase kida serado hotel mor murtra the house house ra blur bela. Maral mora clara blur bela. Adon aswar yim dangali. Tamora tara blum radam lora Iowa. Tamora tara blum radam lora Michigan. Tianga tal كذا البغري كذوم مرال واسي ترى قط كلون وبراد الغرلات واسي جاي الروح تال واسي مغران على كذا مو سبريل دي تيركوت مخلص راكلين كيرا بلا ولا رنير لقوا إلى هوسبيتال يد ولا سكور يد ولا أورور يد ولا تال راك الروح يد من سياد المرتيان كي ولا رود مطمر ولا راكلين من أيال كذا مغلقت مخرا دي تال mereka ni diarah, sel Ministry of Human Resources, dia melalui program bertil, more focused on, osiga urerir, rather bela. Oi, hari tiga tahun atau berapa tahun, tiga hari program berikut, osiga urerir rather bela. Increase training, marang lagi ada mosil, participate regal urang hari rapur bela. Di tara example seluruh senior minister, trial participate. Trial lagi ada musuh malam bak musuh tega ber, ayah lu rata ya, atur gain. Jadi regal, lulus sebab asal tereta ragu, whether tukar fintech, tukar tourism meski dah ragu sel, magit tukar tourist, malah soldal merah blur belang, mengcreate au besel tereta ragu blur belang. Di ayah sel gari ragu, di semua tu dia rata di malam gari au, endeka. دخل سمريرا كيرا بروبنا ما ترى هذا ولا ذيك الجيران والغسا ولو غسا وديران هذا الغرا government مستيك government رايان نوم رجال الوراق finally هذا هو البيلا من غوغين ريسرا سيل minimum wage را private sector الممثل government الأول مو 5 على أكتوبر 2025 مو 425 على أكتوبر يعني next year إيه 5 على Maya rogo lurar at makan lo siga teal maral kita adi mon makira blur bela jadi do wais rose ngelol mel telal ngelak ngelol mel telal adra wad blur urar al sira blur bela embel mol mel mal mabto era adra blur bela urar العذر بلاو هذه أي ملتالان إمران من مصور الأخذ إمران من بصاي إمران لو تتلالجر يدرسي يجرو برتال الملمول المليسي راجي زي مغرور أبلور بلاو يقوم إمران واسع مال بتوقع تال رجال مرال ملا لوا الرجل مري مرق لوا أبلان اللي يجرو غدر تال بلو بورت إيربورت هوتيل تغل infrastructure ما development مرال مي هذا ما يقول يترى كده سي لوت المرمي هذا ثقل سبيسي هذا ودرجات تغرتيال بالوضع سألت question لنا veterans of course عندنا compact من ما تغير تغير تيرا من سيرفرا قلت والدورا بلورا مريجل سيلفر بيلاو يتم لامو eligible را تغورا benefits را medical benefits نمو دخل الوانغرا مو اللي يريد يدي الفلان براوي ما كون موسيقى عن يسوع يكيد من المول موسيقى يجرو قتال را benefits را veterans يلو لارا أبلورا هواي سيغو ذا بيقول سين لارا أبلور بيلاو نيزل ترى وناس غاثيري غير واسي ما أتاخست ما أنا أتاخس ما أيال تريال شو تملا أيال retirement ترتينا دي غاث أتاخسلين دي غالين كاميرا بلور بيلاو دي باي سيلا important كيرو واسي سيلا لوكل مرا بلور بيلاو يتم خدمو أتاخسر تير هم داسو يصير question تغورا PGST مثل دري قبل هذا بسانا يل supplemental budget هم غدا كلير واسي أيال household personal effects مول غوليرن بيليرن furniture تير ولا برا بلور أمريكان نوت مرا بلور بيلاو تما exempt ترى تخسر زي كده أيا كده كلو كلير هذه رغم مرا سل supplemental واسي السوق قول individual غير كلو كلام مالو بعضه أنا أدري كلا بلور بيلاو تروح لك طاولة لخورها السوق يغلقرا تلتلال غارا تخسري يسوق غير تلتلال exempt ترى تخسري up to 5,000 على سخت الرقم so أيه حكم modification أمر على سخت تيم نمرة supplemental الغرة موصوبة كتير تيجي جدا ترى تصل الملوك المتمر بلاد رولي المطيب البيض سولا غرام إنه يلقى
اللي لاست الكريكي مال لا تسيجر غاو بيان من hospital تاعنا لو كان كده برغاو no الموت follow up كده لانفيلا understanding nga kasi makatatal talmala incinerator hospital may medical waste di bololak ra landfill first of all tell sing safe in terms of biohazards ang irungi ingara ko ra mutang lilurol maral giden say ito sa hospital makti so kaldi ko ra ask a question giden sel plan na relocation ra hospital ngarinya pa biniya rubul orior malakal bida orior wase hospital din remain nga orior mang kungkulase ko mo spare expert lalo mesari ngarinya ko ra area ra orior blam identify ngi malubon sang motangalila sang asab eltial hospital relocate tol moringi alubeng lakal bida hindi kal ngariya bibira blura papalda na ofera تميل كده لا موبس الهوسبيتال دي كده التبلون عندنا بتيجي أكاري كلمة
سيل دي كده التبلون اللي هي أوبرا ده أوبرا دي بيوترا التدوم مي كده أجمنا ستيت بيسيترا إملي كده خصوص يا كده ملاقين مرا مينستر ويربلاول كده الانسينريتور ما أملاق كده ngaramol me naringa incinerator hindi naka-incinerator makadmila mol nga incinerator yung hindi nakalitokwara ay kagitali sa safety ma environment na maruri ay gila dan malmol mal-upgrade malapagad yung program related ngaringa incinerator ngara hospital lobar other hospital hindi ngari ang Ministro Erbela di luluwas ngari niya al-mut al-PS al-product el-mut al-safe ay kal atul al-dekal sal mal atul mal-ubel matalgal ka atul el-les hasardo saras selo barela ultimately en so adal morsegi del equipment o sisiul time yung el-al lakad sa baril ekadamral malaklay ka hindi ngari niya Ayel tele tamangat mokla makata list the minimize mal over zero outer cell impact ringil mora surrounding environment abasyol langaringi mang yes kaya kita amal mol merel ada do kita mar other hospital ya kar diregal minister el para kasus saulingi tra leadership mar other illegal wase moring yaungil ada do maklaw ngai may gel wal kora concern na ma-issue other ablu apo da kaw ngi hopefully settle address emokut maklia incinerator ngi regidal ngi amara ngi server ablu may gel el kuk mo o gire dal mga moklo gyo incinerator mora hospital so that will come al legal weeks langar madadara ada do lo panggela leadership ma ara adara balu rai milika agel aldo do of course yung mo otolo ring ya tigal ko adara wa QPB mar bebira ara adal tira ko ngora environment ri a task force a veces el hospital a direct al tarayel task force el presidente Salmer Obis yung melikat pi ma task force Amelia Urelela a task force el mo magagre el committee naringa ko committee la kaluidem ne chairingia ngelulam terar kapanors ngara task force was kami ba mo ngado ay gal ar governor may gal state el wasinta asbel motura besel mo makadara besel hospital endim naringia alain el drawing sel raira gyuk el morada hospital sede dura sekom dio mesra al sel mer order nenda kal sal seb edal mo mga roider gider tel cloud population ng order may rai au riura along the do engel kukulum ter siam nei lo lapat tablol offer awan offer upload ngat pa sel area ra koksai ongeru ra offer pelurai rai sel area ra pebula asyo min sarami egal utum ra state alubeng egal land authority ra egal belu el lo lava certificate of title le sea taramne egim dilira sel committee wase de girel utum dollar ngi a state malubeng PLA egal state a PLA ASPLA egal state a oba title ring matamne lola ba igel tablong naringa title lola ma-offer milanga resolution ma-support makangera governor igel belulo dersia utam mera national government at no cost el modo orinya besel hospital awera gim submit report final report mamel mora president agire mle imora member mama ulu aisel wase a oror mandiregal ngari all the swell wase sebele dari tel hospital tel asahiguran dari al time mang sedim nagim iti agim ne include ngira self final report ang mamel mora president was ay gagida starus ra maumso de legal tablel utmablel offer ay ray mangat pang et gagida diregal luldaso ma aldado mlamay alwasa orora diregal ngari of the swell offer asahiguran dal mo osay traves al hospital
Guardi modo lise ele lo hace kida of course kada na madador trigel development partners again program regel Shabal Taiwan Australia tigaya el meeting artire kada umro la sengir del coordinator tial to hospital de galigral toy guardi rough estimate para el hospital kalam sadra 150 million es segura di rough estimate mang kloludo da mo kakaringi girel involve planning de galigral di o mesere al sils yel tibul kama lo sed kida adilura dolungi tertilo se bem first step medre la feasibility study el mal sum la moriga del trial site med evaluate de dome se lo hace let's use experts to help us disadvantages advantages cost all of those things y de se lo hace ngarasel mal mo ir a long term development tra ablur bela I think seguida gira der murtrim I know lo hace Namo real estate utuk namo kay brober. Di kaligirel mong kita nung lang real estate al sumawa na may selected. Giedro sikir sel go truil girirarat. Mang akti duli siya tamra kasulam rigel mlamol. Tamla kongir sel assistant sa USTDN mamuru sel first step sel study. And then from there, natirikan na kora kamit ruase. Kada mo set makalo siya do lugot makli. Kora di hint ruase asya pala lagi na contribution game Taiwan. But anyway, this is a clone brother el toy hindi ka do maralo asing kat magil. Ikida am na ruase tiyan existing hospital with magila del man continue los peri for the meantime for at least the next 6 years hospital. Starting today, we're thinking 20, 30 or beyond kita. Sadara besa hospital. Ang namamraya ka na moral sil. That's how long we have to plan. Duka di a one-stop shop, for example. Start the construction or 2021 maybe we'll open it this year, 4 years later. So just to give you bistirada, so taradoruri make sure that those hospital dos peri lang. Asya de mal los peri mo. Kada maintain upgrade keep it up to speed. So, so I'll share Sula.
Mr. President, actually, the last question na ni Musubes mal the last one, it's related and more mention as a economic advisory consultation going on right now, partnership. Kada do kita Madam Miguel masada gel ngaring iluror el time edire kalso mani akora sep edel kaing seuringi kata share with them taraman le mentioning it before el tokoera improvement tokoera economy ma support tourism of Palau expand the airport target kan mention I believe one time that it might cost somewhere around 700 million mang jal kotomes la si Amerika la kamit mo military la kamit expand la airport blue abe direct expert expand airport tinyan ngani ako ra alto jal alto maray la tiang partner ngi al ubeng ko ra mal na mo to ka request ki ng angara back for na tokoera kay kita economic development.
Kita maldriga magador years till to airport marsol daw did their initial estimates at airport. So alas del JCM li plani te dilur gidro ase a costra expansion airport terbela 2 to 3 billion. Misera el deliti alo ure. E kada te ase te didile ase ndgal samla for the real te degal. It's not feasible at this time. Actimas kami example sa airport the expansion or Blue Lab amo dual runway degal one. It's a dual runway. Total budget cost for everything is 400 million. So include the compensation out. So bela the extension or the one runway 2 to 3 billion. Tukura waldo say kami do mesa better alternatives. In fact, ito ba yung masarap lilo na seta zero lang airport na bili expanding mo kamangal malsuun suwata kamangal sa mo bili mo kasi wala tila kurang balik hindi. So in fact rather Australia o knesendra wana timer men suba to tourism transportation was how do we improve our linker belau. One of the things they discovered was because of the length of the runway, of course we're restricted. They to say more importantly find the right partner airline and provide a service in Berbelo. They have to have the right aircraft, the right engines. A321s are good. They have long range in Mega Sydney. There's 737s that have the capacity. Sometimes they get low-cost carriers. So, first, we need to identify three carriers that have the right aircraft, the right engines. So let's go approach them about Palau. Of course, the best thing is if we had our own airline. One of the things that they've learned, I get 800 series. This is first at 787 at Tilo. Say Marcel Lender Belau. This is Quackruel at 767. A problem is, ayal airline service rita de katartilo skogige. So, if we had our own airline, we'd go and get the planes and start. But that's something we should think about. Get on mess I get roll. Altel. Yeah, 7878. That's an artian unstable mura Hawaii, even West Coast Ramliel or Dubai. So open up a vessel tel. So mga mo only start airline. Maybe we should start an airline. But we've got to look at all those options. Try to solve it. I look at it as a problem. We need more tourists. We need to diversify the market. We need aircraft. We need runways. How do we solve the problem? And so they're saying this is one way. And maybe if they're willing to spend 300 million, maybe they can invest 300 million in an airline. I got all the ideas that we have to think about. How do we develop and diversify with the risk constraints that we have? In the 80s, when I said airport, I said kita the rule. At the same time, I'm an expensive extending. Brother Shabal, I'm proposing more airport and more abebula, luminary yep, till Cross Island Road, a bubble down. So that's still an option, but so those are things that we need to consider, but we continue to find ways to try to solve issues that we face. Of course, the last resort, I say, better tell airport Plilio, that's another option. But international, so it's still an option.
Still an option.
But that could change things. I mean, it is our. But hindi ako do that. So gather to our selling Ramodor, I get Malmaclo expensive, Malmaclo infrastructure. And the best partner, of course, is the military. Soldahan. The most pay, Matamakador, kita siya the pay. Legal, road runway, alam joint use. So lang.
That's my question. Sulang. Yep. That's it. Next save. Next.
Next press conference in Constitution Day? Or close to it. Oh, yeah. Anyway, July 10. July 10. Oh. Holiday, July 9. So whatever. Yeah. The 2 weeks from now is July 10, yes. So, hopefully, kung lumutan mer, sa literat tiya Palau.
Off island.
Ato off island, okay. Direct mo, wais ba siya July 16 to 18 mo niya Palm. Kada mo attend their Palm and just looking forward. Direct sel July 29 to August 2nd. Yung Arisel International Seabed Authority meaning ra Blura, Jamaica. Kita mo attend the look. Kita of course kita advocate sel moratorium ra deep sea bed mining. Also planning ayat Marisel Omal Marathon na beginning of September. Diri ka lang ani sel 80th anniversary mo rin Blura Blidaw. To ka-register kita May. But of course October 1st. Makata diri ka mga mokori kita likirela igay. Lastly kita amal so adal di mo recognize tira public servants blakan real masyur arbek latar pelor arbek zils el tukubet zils tira zils. Happy birthday and mora Millicent Isabong Kwan Isabong kangara tiala officer kita presidenta. Happy birthday Isabong. Walter Mario Jr. Gangara Customs. Direk Nicholas Aquino Jr. Direk Customs. Rahel Jose Kasensera Ngara Pelilio Elementary School. Direk Abardong Malayangan Ngara Bureau of Public Works. Ma John Rick Evangelista Ngara Health Info and Intelligence Ngara MHHS. Happy birthday, congratulations. Adios la mal no kaltanga terbe kalater belaw mal balwadra blur belaw. Ma next la kaswesra July 10. Kamal sula.